So what I like to do when I talk to different entrepreneurs and they say, well, what should I be doing on my blog? I say, okay, well, I'm going to ask you questions. I'm not going to have you ask me questions. I'm going to ask you questions because really it's about taking the information that's inside of you and bringing that out, just having kind of a guide, so to speak. So how I've designed my presentation is in giving you a series of questions that you need to be asking yourself as far as your business is concerned. And that's really where you're going to start to develop your content and know the best way to strategically market yourself and attract customers and PR. So first question being, am I hiding behind the business or am I sharing my story? Now, blogs are not cogs. They should not be filled with generic articles. A lot of times people start a blog and they go, okay, well, this is my industry. I like to do jewelry, so I'm just going to find content because I need content. I'm just going to add content. You need to be able to connect with your readers, and the first place to start is your story. So why you decided to do your particular business, your service, really getting to the heart of that is going to resonate with your audience and help them get a sense of what you do. So for example, I'm a full-time work-at-home mompreneur, and I talk to my audience from that perspective. And a lot of times when people find me, whether it be Google or other search platforms, it's because they're saying, okay, well, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm looking for help. And because I've strategically talked about myself and my story in my blog, that helps to attract attention. So you want to, essentially get offline. I always like to say that, put down the computer, turn off the computer, the laptop, get offline, think about what your story is, write it down, and integrate that into your blog, because people aren't just kind of looking for brand names or topics, but really they're looking for individuals who match their personality. Now, also think about the question, who am I trying to reach? When you are writing, you have to have a very, very clear understanding of who you're trying to reach. I'm sure you've heard the term target audience, but then people hear that term so much sometimes it becomes confusing. I just say this. Know that when people go onto Google, they're not going, I'm looking for everything. They're looking for very, very specific things. Even just think about today when you did a Google search. What are the things that you were looking for? What are the questions or the phrases that you use? That's the same habits that your customers or potential PR opportunities or, advertisers, if you want advertisers to come to your blog, those are the same strategies that they're using. And sometimes people find it overwhelming because they go, well, I'm trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. But really you need to start and think about, well, how am I using the web? What kind of words and terms am I using? And integrate that into your strategy, because that's going to help you as far as answering the question of who I'm trying to reach. Now, also keep in mind when you're thinking about yourself as a business blogger, again, it's different because in addition to sharing information, this is not just a hobby for you. So is this a hobby blog or a business blog? Don't shy away from the idea that you have to sell on your space. So if you do not like sales, if you do not understand strategically how to create a sales funnel, how to create a marketing campaign, how to put out seasonal opportunities on your space so that, let's say, for example, it is Father's Day and you have your own jerseys and you want to do a special promotion for dads. If that's not something that naturally comes to you, you want to find resources that are going to help you strategically learn how to be a sales blogger. Now, I have several resources that I'm going to talk about later, but if you're not familiar with, you should definitely look at the website copyblogger.com. They really specialize in, as far as bloggers are concerned, talking about how you can write copy. Now, copy is basically the sales text that you're using to get people excited about what you're selling and convince them that you are the right person for them. But again, you have to know within yourself, if you're not a sales guy, you're the inventor, or you're the producer, you're the writer, but you don't do the marketing, really understanding that you've got to get used to that and start strategically writing like a salesperson when you're putting information onto your blog. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples of how you would do something like this on your space. How to post, for example. Let's say you are a fashion blogger, but you are a fashion entrepreneur and you've got your own jewelry line. Then you want to strategically start talking about, let's say, current events. If you see Beyonce on the red carpet and you say, look at her dress, my jewelry line would go perfect with that. You're going to talk about topics that are of interest or trending, but then you're going to say, well, look at this bracelet, for example, with the jewelry line. Look at this bracelet. Look at this chain. Doesn't it look great? Let's go here to the xyz.com, and this is my shop. So understanding how you cannot just provide information, but again, strategically integrate your product and service into that, that's important. So, for example, if you find that you are a service professional and you have different how-to videos, then you're going to make sure that in those videos you're strategically including your website and saying, now I want you to go to mywebsite.com and use this resource. It's kind of like a call and response thing. You're not just kind of leaving the reader or the viewer, if they're watching your video on your blog, to go out and find the information for themselves. You're integrating it into the post and strategically telling them where to go. Here's the resource, here's the product, here's the service. And so how-to posts are really good for that. Customer feedback and reviews, something else that you should be consistently integrating into your space. So it's an opportunity for you to give people a testimonial without calling it a testimonial. When people send you emails or feedback, or even when you strategically put that information out there, you can put that in your blog. It's really great content. Now, addressing common issues and questions. I do this consistently on my blog. So, for example, if someone will send me a question and say, LaShanda, I'm trying to start an ebook, but I have no idea where to start, I'll take that person's question and then turn it into a blog post, but then I'll strategically say, well, I have a resource on ebooks, or I can show you how to do this, and again, redirecting them to the surface once you've answered the question, because again, your blog should be informational and content-packed, but when you're trying to wrap your brain for content, you should look to the questions that people are asking you as far as your profession is concerned, and you can find potential content in those questions. Now, of course, uploading videos to show buyers your products and services is really essential. We do not have I don't know about all of you, but in the case of blog entrepreneurs that do not have brick and mortar businesses, you should have video content, so that if you're a service professional, they can see you, they can hear you, or if you have a particular product, they can see it. They can't touch it. They can't talk to you in the store and say, well, how does this work? So you really want to make sure that you're integrating media in there as well, so that you can strategically sell your products and services. And of course, sharing things, like I mentioned before, like seasonal promotions and when you have new inventory, that's important as well. So another question to be asking yourself is, whose attention do I want to grab today? Your focus will often shift from attracting new customers to return customers or media. These are all different groups, and you have to talk to them in different ways. So what you write and how you write is dependent on who you're trying to reach today. The media, in my personal experience, is looking for experts, and they're looking for buzz. So